The T3 boxing gloves from Hayabusa are widely considered one of the very best and most recognizable gloves on the market. But have a think about this. Just because a boxing glove is endorsed by several world champion combat athletes and have over 1,000 5-star reviews, does this mean that this is truly the world's most advanced and best boxing glove around? Especially when I know that no single product, especially a boxing glove, is safe from a 1-star review or any technical flaws. So something's got to give, right? Now, first and foremost, I want to say that I have been a Hayabusa fan for as long as I can remember. Since the early 2000s, when GSP started to house their gear and wear it when he was training or in any promotional video, I became obsessed. And to prove this, here is a legitimate photo of me 10 plus years ago holding my very first pair of Hayabusa MMA gloves. I'm telling you right now, that is literally me. So as you can see, my love for fight gear has sprung up ever since I was quite young. Now that I'm a fair bit older and hopefully a little bit wiser, let's do my first ever Hayabusa review on their Big Mac, the T3 boxing gloves. The T3s, in my opinion, are a fantastic pair of boxing gloves, but like every product on the market, there is always some shortcomings. So let's go a little bit deeper as to exactly what I love and maybe don't love so much about the T3s. Let's start off by appreciating the obvious. The T3s are visually one of the most stunning and one of the most unique boxing gloves on the market. Just the level of design when it comes to the splintered sections, to the dual wrist wrap, to the debossed logos, to the Vylar material, to partnering with other brands such as Marvel, who else? Star Wars, you've got your Italian leathers, you've got your pastel ranges, your neon ranges. It really shows you that the T3s are really on a stage of their own. So let me stop waffling about the visuals right now and let's look a little bit more on the functionality side. So starting off with the weight, we are looking at 15.7 ounces on the right hand glove and 15.6 on the left hand glove. So only very slightly underweight. For me, a glove with this many features and the feeling of it being very balanced, 15.6 is fantastic for a 16-ounce boxing glove. Next, let's take a look at the glove's casing, which is something unique to Hayabusa, a synthetic material, a very advanced armor, they call it, which is called Vylar. What I can tell you straight away about looking at Vylar is it gives me more of a durability feeling rather than something soft and comfortable like a smooth cowhide. As you can see, there's even grains popping from this synthetic material, and even when I give it a squeeze, it does feel quite thick. So if you're looking for a synthetic glove that's going to last a long time, I am very confident that this would be the glove to do it. There are only 2 other sections of this glove that have slightly different materials. The first one here may be Vylar, I'm not 100% sure. It is a lot smoother in composition, so it could be more of a PU, but obviously it's there to improve the visuals. I have to save the most interesting material for last, and that is the microfiber thumb. Now, this is a huge selling point for Hayabusa, and I understand as to why it is, but me being a very significant sweater, I am very nervous about this as a material. But don't get me wrong, I've had this pair for over a year, and what I can tell you is everything's held up great. It does not smell at all. However, I do cycle my gloves very regularly, so I'm probably not using these as intensely as many people may. So let me know in the comments below if my theory is correct or wrong, whether this starts to get soggy and nasty. And just being very, very picky as a side note for the casing, this elastic here that you see with a lot of different pairs of gloves to essentially close the opening for you, having this on the outside can ruin any glove that costs over $100. Stick this underneath. It doesn't need to be seen. It takes away from the visuals, and if it starts to break down, it only looks nastier on the outside. Now that we've gone over the exterior, let's take a look at the interior of this glove, which is absolutely one of the T3's biggest pluses. I can immediately tell you that once you put on these gloves, just how well crafted they are, especially for my hands, which I would say are probably more of a medium in terms of length and width. There is perfectly enough room in the length and in the width for me to get my hand in here. If you do have longer hands, there's still a bit of room at the end of the finger compartment, and there's probably at least another finger in width if you do have broader hands as well. The thumb section turns and curves over perfectly. There's plenty amount of plush thumb padding here. There is also a really comfortable bar of lining on the ends of my fingers, so I don't feel like I'm sitting on some awkward stitching or inner lining. There's also a beautifully plush palm pillow. The only negative with the T3s, which isn't a huge deal, is that they are not very broken in. So from here, me trying to open my hand is a bit of a battle. It's not super comfortable. So if you are doing Muay Thai and you are clinching a lot, bear in mind that this may take a little bit longer for you to break in. I think there are better gloves that open up easier. So if clinching is a big deal in your training, these may not be the gloves for you. Now, the inner lining is another piece of technology from Hayabusa called AG fabric. It doesn't feel as soft as, say, a tricot liner, but it is still very comfortable. The liner is also stated to be antimicrobial, anti-odor, and antibacterial. So if you're looking for a liner that's going to do the job after a very sweaty session, this may be the perfect glove for you sweaters out there, especially those of you who decide to leave your gloves inside your bag for days and days after. Don't do that. That's stupid. And now that we've gone through the Handfit and the inner liner, let's talk about the actual padding itself, especially over the knuckles and in other areas. So firstly, the Hayabusa T3s have 4 layers of padding over the knuckles. The mold over my knuckles compresses really, really well. I can tell you straight away that after using these for training and sparring, I have never felt any pain in the knuckles, in the hand, the wrist, or my forearm. So that is great news for anybody looking for a protective glove that's going to look after them session after session. And the positive things to say about the T3s, don't stop there. The padding of this glove not only works over the knuckles and the hand fit, it also goes down towards the wrist. There were 2 other features here which make one hell of an improvement to a boxing glove, in particular for your wrist support. The first of these 2 areas are the 4 splintered sections which you can see on the back of the hand here. Now these splints are only a few pieces of dense foam. However, in conjunction with the second part here, you've got yourself not only some added protection on the outer shell for when you are guarding up, but also for how it keeps the glove stable. The 2 splints at the top, in my opinion, are just mainly for protection, just to stop those punches and kicks giving you a little bit too much extra grunt. The 2 splints at the bottom here are where the gold is. They essentially prevent your wrist as much as they can from extending in an awkward position. So if you do punch incorrectly or you're even shelling up, it actually prevents that wrist from bending backwards. And wrist support and protection, in my opinion, are the most bloated terms you can see in the boxing glove industry. 95% of gloves, I believe, have little to no wrist support whatsoever. The T3s, in my opinion, are one of the only pairs of gloves that actually say what they do. So a huge kudos to Hayabusa for actually putting a feature in a glove that is well needed. The other part, however, to this system for a splint, you need something that holds it and locks it in place. And that is being the dual X Velcro straps in the glove. A dual Velcro system has been done on other gloves before, but not in conjunction with a splint system like this. You always have in a dual system a double-sided Velcro head, which is elasticized, therefore I can really pull it tight. Then you have your standard Velcro that sits on top, which really locks me into place. If you're looking something that's truly going to protect your wrists, you cannot pass up on these gloves for that reason. So as you may have guessed, I really do enjoy the T3s. I actually think the people who design this really do care about the R&D in their gloves. They actually listen to the feedback of customers or people who complain about the traditional gloves that may not provide them with the support and the protection they need. And after almost a year of use, I can understand why people love these and why some people may not love the T3s. For the most part, these gloves have been truly awesome. I find them fantastic for sparring, A for protection, B for support, C for their comfort, hand fit, all the above has been great. I'm not a huge fan of these for bag and pad work, but in saying that, these are 16, so they do feel larger, they do feel bulkier, and they don't feel as good as, say, any other type of puncher's glove or Mexican glove. But if you have a set of 10 ounces and 12 ounces, let me know what you think of bag and pad work, because I'd like to get a set to give them a try. As I said before, I can only think of some tiny negatives in these gloves, that being the thumb. I really don't know how that thumb would last. It really icks me to see anything other than leather and vinyl on a glove. It's very scary. The other thing being the dual X straps. The only real nuisance to having dual Velcro wrist straps means that they can be a little bit of a hindrance to get on when you've got both gloves on, and they can be a little bit annoying to get off. So in summary, who are the T3s for? I honestly think the T3s are for anybody who enjoys a good set of boxing gloves, whether you're a newbie to the sport or whether you get injured sometimes or fairly often. I think these are a fantastic option for protection and support, as I said before. If you're not a fan of the new age glove and you love your old school traditional handmade gloves like your 1v1s, your Winning, your Donatos, etc., I don't think this is going to be the glove for you. I understand why people love gloves like them. I, in particular, also love them, but Hayabusa, in my opinion, are going down one direction, and I think for a lot of professional old school boxers, you're probably going to want to hand down the other. I still think the T3s are fantastic, but they may just not be the gloves for you. So that's it, legends. Thank you so much for sticking around, as always. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and if you have nothing better to do, maybe check out some other videos. Can't wait to get another review out very soon. Have a good one, legends. See you soon.